All right, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome, welcome. We are on week 6, I think, of live streams. Yeah, done so many in a row now. I'm starting to lose count, so that's a good thing, I think. Um, yeah, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? I hope you all had a fantastic New Year, and I hope you're stoking for the weather changing. It looks like we're finally getting some winter coming back after a very dry December, and I personally could not be more excited. So, um, yeah, we'll kick things off here. I see Luke's already in the chat. Looks like there's a couple of others who have joined in too. What's up, Luke? How you doing? It's good to see you in here. Drop a comment where you guys are tuning in from. Yeah, Luke, what do you think about this weather? All Board No Breaks is in here too. What's up? How was my New Year's? My New Year's was awesome. Went out and did something with Celica. I did something with the wife for first time in a while, actually. Last few years, we've just kind of chilled at home, and we went to a friend's house who had a party, a nice dinner party. She did like a homemade cooked like Italian meal with a couple other couples, and my mom was cool enough to watch Arthur while we were out, and then we came back here like at midnight and rang in the new year with my mom and visited my landlord upstairs. He was throwing a party, and we dropped into that for a little bit too. So it was a pretty busy New Year's for us compared to the last couple, but it was fun. Yeah, what'd you do for New Year's? Working class active in the house. What's up? He says, "What's up, D? Hope you and the fam had a great holiday." Yeah, definitely. This was a really fun Christmas with Arthur. This was technically his second Christmas, but last year he was only like 6 weeks old, so he was able to experience things a little bit more this time around, and he didn't know exactly what was going on, but it was cool to see the expressions on his face and all the excitement of presents and stuff, and he was just able to be more active than he was last time. So it was fun to see the excitement on his face and all that. But yeah, it was fun. We did have a little bit of sickness go through our family, unfortunately. Arthur got sick first, then my wife got sick, and I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I got a little something just a couple days ago. I thought I escaped it, but I came down with some cold symptoms last Sunday. No, Monday. And so I think it's going to be a quick turnaround, fortunately. But I was kind of down and out yesterday for most of the day, just trying to recover. But I'm feeling pretty good. Planning on going riding tomorrow and filming at Brighton with Alex. So stoked for that, and stoked that we might get some good conditions coming in. So yeah, really, really excited for the weekend. Red is in the house too. What's up? He says, "Yo, praying for snow this week." Yes, let's send those prayers up and wash your car. Wear your pajamas inside out or whatever else you can do to get the snow coming. I think I'm going to go wash my car tomorrow. I should do that. Yeah, I keep checking the forecast, as probably most of us are doing every day. And each day during the week, I kept expecting it to get, worse or to be disappointed each day. But so far, it's held up pretty well. So that's encouraging. It looks like we're going to get kind of like a steady wave of storms rather than just like one big hit. And it might be like, a couple inches one day and then a couple inches the next day and so forth, which is honestly okay because it looks like for the extended forecast, it's for like the next 10 to 15 days in a row. So that could pile up quite a bit, and it would honestly help space out crowds rather than having like, this Saturday is going to be the day to be there. So that's pretty cool. I hope that over delivers, but it would be nice kind of if it spreads out over the next coming week or two. Hopefully just the faucet kicked on and it's not going to stop because we need it bad. Real a side note here real quick. Austin showed me a video from Baker Mountain today. Oh my gosh, from Mount Baker, it was like people riding on mud. It looked terrible, and he said that he's never seen it that bad. But yeah, I hear they're struggling really bad, Lower Mountain. We've been fortunate that in the Cottonwoods, at least, the snow's held pretty decently, even though we haven't had snow in like a month. But yeah, everybody needs snow. Everybody needs more snow in their life. Armadillo, Pardillo. Hey man, I like your username. I actually moved to Maryland when you left that area. Okay. Finally moved to SLC this past March. Wow. Looking forward to getting some snow. Sweet. Awesome, man. Well, I'm very curious, obviously, what brought you to Maryland. And then did you leave once you heard I left? Is that why you left and came over here? No, seriously, what brought you to Maryland and what brought you to Salt Lake? I find that fascinating because it's such a different place than here. But yeah, all board, no breaks. Says watching from North Dakota. Sweet. Apparently sickness is everywhere. Thought I was dying Monday. Ooh, ouch. I wonder if I've got some of the same strain of whatever it was that you had. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people have been sick all over. Kevin from Snowboard Pro Camp said he was sick around Christmas Day. And I guess Yannick was too. Alex was sick like the week before that. So a bunch of stuff's going around, yeah. So far, it's just like a little bit of congestion, if you can hear it in my voice. And that's kind of it. I had like a little bit of a runny nose. Knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse. But I'm feeling pretty good. Been drinking a bunch of green tea, taking vitamin C, all that stuff. So hopefully it's just like a quick 48-hour kind of thing. But yeah, I hope you're doing better. All board, no breaks. Sorry to hear you were not feeling so well on Monday. Luke says, glad it's better for you guys. It's still not the best where I am. I can live through you. And then you put, I am happy. Yeah. Remind me where you're at, Luke. I forgot. Sorry. It's hard to keep track of all you guys, where you're located. Ferb Jr. says, word. What's up, Ferb? Now, Ferb, you are at Beaver, if I'm not mistaken, working at Beaver this year. Last year, you were working at Solitude. Bumped into you there. And I think you said that you are at Beaver this year, which I can't wait to get back to. Hopefully they get hit hard with this next cycle of storms. If they do, going to try to prioritize a trip up there. But probably need to get to Pall Mall too. I want to get up to Pall Mall. Want to get to Snow Basin. Want to get to Beaver again. Still need to get to Cherry. Just everybody needs snow. Working class active says Southern California just got its first decent storm, but only about 6 inches. Mammoth got about 1.5 feet. Wow. Awesome. Well, good for Mammoth. That's good to hear. The rest, not so great, but 6 inches compared to nothing is better than nothing, right? So I guess that's what's coming our way. It hit you guys first. Hopefully, yeah, there's just a bunch more on the way coming from the Pacific. Camera boy, what's up? It's good to see you again. June 1st, closing day at Killington, had better snow coverage than this past week. Yeah, I believe it. I think closing day at a lot of places last year had way better coverage than we have right now, which is sad, but kind of cool last year. there were a bunch of places in Utah last year that closed with like, I'm not even kidding, like 90 to 100-inch bases. Sundance was one of them. A lot of people were complaining, but resorts just don't want to stay open if they're not making like those daily ticket sales. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on that, but yeah, hopefully things turn around quickly, guys. Luke says Banff, right? Nice. Okay, that's right. I forgot you're up there. Cool. What's the temperatures like in Banff right now, Luke? Just curious. We're just sitting solid in like the low 30s Fahrenheit here. So I guess that's like close to 0 Celsius. Let me know. Armando Pardillo. Sorry if I'm butchering your last name, Armando. Work. Okay, I got you to Maryland. I got a job at the FDA. All right. Once remote work became a normal thing, I made my way over here. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I'm in the South Jordan area. Cool. So nice hopping on the ski bus around the Midville area, not having to drive up. Yeah, if you're close to a ski bus line, that's money. I'm not anymore. When we were living in Cottonwood Heights, I was, which was really great. It was like half a mile walk to a bus stop. And Salka and I even just had one car for like the first year we lived here, because I could just walk to the bus stop, which was great. Unfortunately, I'm not that close to a bus stop anymore, so I don't take advantage of that as much anymore. But that's sick. And yeah, speaking of remote work, I kind of missed that whole boat by a couple years. When I left Maryland, nobody was really remote working at Social Security, so I was part of the government branch too. I wasn't a federal employee, I was a contractor, but once COVID hit, everybody teleworked for I think like the next year and a half. Nobody even went in, and I think they're still mostly teleworking. So I think if that had happened while I was still trying to do the whole YouTube thing, I don't know where I would have ended up. I might not have really done what I'm doing now, because I could have potentially been like, all right, well, I can keep this job, telework, have enough days off to snowboard, move somewhere else. I don't know, but I'm glad things worked out the way they did, and I'm glad it's working out for you. It sounds like that's sick, man. Glad you made it over here. We'll have to catch a lap or two on snow. Red says closing day last season. I take it any day over this season thus far. Yeah, me too. Snowboarding in May last year for the first time was sick. Yeah, snowboarding in May was awesome last year. Millie Meltdown in Brighton was like my favorite thing last year. All month long, every day, you could be up there, and the conditions were fantastic. But Red, have you not ridden past May? You haven't ridden anywhere in June yet? I've done June and July, but I haven't ridden in August or September. Those are the 2 months left that I haven't really snowboarded. Not because I have a lack of opportunity. If I really wanted to, I could probably hike up to Mount Temp and hit the glacier in either August or September. But I just haven't made that commitment of a trek up there. It's not an easy, quick couple of turns up there. It's basically like a 2-day mission, I'd say, planning on either leaving at the crack of dawn super early, or just camping up there overnight. Either way, it's going to be like a long kind of expedition almost to do that. But I need to make it happen. Also, just need to get out to Mammoth or get out to High Cascade or something like that one of these summers. been talking about it for a while. Needs to happen. But yeah, riding in May is amazing. And for anybody on the East Coast, you're probably like, shut up, stop talking about riding in August and July, because that's just spoiled. I talked about this, I think, in my last live chat, but man, I saw my local hill round top, the first place I ever snowboarded in Pennsylvania, had to close down all last week for rain after they'd only opened for like 3 days. It sucks. But anyway, yeah, last season, it's a tough bar. It was a high bar to set for this year compared to what we're getting. Luke says we have some snow coming in the forecast over the next week. Let's hope it delivers. Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, hopefully up and down the whole continent, we're gonna get hammered. That would be sick, because I know everywhere is just starving for some precipitation right now, in the form of snow, I should say. Cool. Yeah, and Luke also says it's averaging -8 Celsius, 17 Fahrenheit. That's a bit chilly compared to what we're used to. But I've ridden in like the teens before. Fahrenheit. Yeah. But we haven't been that cold. Although I heard the next stretch of storms and everything that we're getting, it's going to be pretty cold, even getting close to some record lows here in Utah over the next week. I don't know exactly what those record lows will be, but if I had to guess, probably somewhere in the teens, maybe single digits. I don't know. It's funny. I lived in Maryland for so long, and the conditions obviously are way better out here. The snow is way better. The mountains are way better. But in Maryland, we would have these crazy days that would just, come out of nowhere, where it was like single digits, sometimes zero, or like minus, below zero, just like bone chilling cold, especially with wind chill. And then we would have like a week later, it would be in the 60s. And then we just didn't get the snow, which is kind of wild. Speaking of Baltimore, Red says, I left Baltimore in the late 90s. No regrets. Cool. That's awesome, man. It's a small world, isn't it? It seems like there's so many people I've bumped into and talked to out here, or you guys that have spent time in Baltimore. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. The only thing, I talk about this a lot, but the only thing I miss is the food. I miss some of the food in Baltimore. And some friends. And O's games. That's about it. Orioles games. Especially last season. Oh my gosh, didn't you guys watch the Orioles last season? They were on fire, and then they completely fell apart in the playoffs, but it was still exciting to see the Baltimore Orioles be good again. But anyway, this is a snowboard channel. We won't talk about sports too much, unless you guys want to. Ferb Jr. says, I'm just working on my farm. Okay, cool. I don't know why. Maybe you said you were up by Beaver. I thought I heard you say something about Beaver. Is your farm up in that area? If not, then I'm just going crazy. So let me know. Luke says it's averaging -8 Celsius, 17 Fahrenheit. I already said that. All aboard, no brakes says, so glad it hasn't hit below zero yet here. Usually by now it's been -20 degrees Fahrenheit for at least a week. Oof. Oh man, that's cold. Yeah. That's North Dakota, right? Yeah. Yeah, I've heard North Dakota is pretty chilling. I haven't really been up there. I think Selig and I drove through South Dakota. Yeah, we drove through South Dakota on our move out here, but I haven't been to North Dakota. But I hear it's quite cold. What's your average ski resort like up there? What kind of vertical you guys get? Or are you going somewhere else to ride out of state, all board, no brakes? I'm curious. Red says 100% on missing food, friends, and the birds. Yeah, the Ravens and the Orioles. Although if you left in the 90s, you probably were leaving like right as the Ravens came to town, or a couple years after, maybe. But yeah, I miss both those teams and going to games. But the Ravens are on fire this year. So it's been a good year and a half for Baltimore teams. It's looking like the Ravens are going to go to the Super Bowl. I hope. That'd be sick. All right, guys. Well, got a couple topics I was going to bring up while we're waiting for some more questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them, obviously. We're going to try to keep this thing going until about 9 o'clock my time. That's like another 40 minutes. We'll see how long my voice can can hold out. But I wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts were on longer form content for YouTube, like what I've been doing, videos that are like 8 to 15 minutes long versus shorter form content. What do you guys like? Are you digesting more of your content these days, in like short form? I know YouTube's pushing a lot of the short videos, and you got Instagram Reels and Instagram Stories, and it just seems like people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. And I've noticed it seems like some of the viewership this year on my regular videos hasn't been doing as well. And then I'll throw up like a short that's like less than 30 seconds, and it'll get the same, if not more, views than my full length video that I'm just trying to promote. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. I think everybody has a different opinion. But I personally prefer making longer form content for you guys, something a little more cinematic. It kind of tells a story that is a little bit more of a throwback to snowboard movies, and that sort of thing. But let me know what you guys think. I've been tiptoeing with the idea for the last couple years of getting on TikTok. I still don't like the format. I don't like the platform. I feel like it's just making everybody's attention span shorter and shorter. And you look at something, and then, seconds later, you don't even remember what you saw. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about TikTok and all that. And if you want to see me get on there, or if you don't care. But that's a topic I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit. So let me know your thoughts on that. Carlos says, "Hey Dan, what's up? We're watching you." I'm riding Woodward Park City mostly. Hope to see you soon. Sweet. That's awesome. Thanks, Carlos. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, did you get a chance to see my Woodward Park City review? If you did, let me know what you thought about it. Yeah, and are you getting good at park, or are you good at park? That's pretty awesome that you're riding there. I want to ride Woodward more. I haven't been there yet this season. I was there doing the indoor a little bit preseason in October, but I haven't ridden the park outside yet. So I might try to get up there soon. That's cool. All board, no brakes says the average resort here has no trees, about 200 feet vertical drop. Okay. That's about what I expected, maybe less than I expected. Woodward Park City has 360 vertical. I forget. I just did the video on that, but it kind of reminded me of like some East Coast resorts. But that sounds similar. And maybe 50 skiable acres. Ooh, okay. That's small, but I mean, it'll get the job done. Woodward Park City, probably the smallest one here, is 150 acres. So that's like 2/3 more than you guys have. So ski resort here are pretty sad, but I just use them to get better at riding for the real mountains. Dude, you can get so good at those. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be said for the smaller resorts, or hills, whatever you want to call them. I mean, dude, I've even hiked to get literally like 2 or 3 turns in the summer before. So riding is riding, and if you can just get lap after lap, even only 200 feet of vertical and 50 acres, that's awesome. Yeah, I've got nothing but love for those smaller places, and yeah, one of these days I'd like to get back east and maybe go back to some of my old original resorts and make some videos there. I think that'd be really fun. But it's true, if you get good, especially in icy conditions, then it's just going to make you so much better when you can travel to a bigger resort, a bigger mountain. But that's awesome. If you truly love it, then it just doesn't matter. Do you have rope tows? I'm imagining that you've got a rope tow, but I could be wrong. We didn't really have rope tows. I think the only place that had a rope tow that I went to was Seven Springs. They had one park that had a rope tow, and you could lap that and get pretty good at stuff. If you're doing park, you can get really good that way, lapping features really fast. But yeah, that's cool. SBF says do a little of both. Do you like clips from the long videos into shorts? Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of like that too. I haven't minded doing that. I'm usually making like a smaller clip that I throw on Instagram anyway. So I figure why not throw it on a YouTube short. So that's good. Red says, love all the vids, but the outtakes are pure gold for me. That's awesome. I'm glad you appreciate them. And honestly, like when I get to the end of a video that I'm working on and I don't have like a really good outtake, I get a little bit bummed. I'm like, man, there's nothing great for bloopers at the end of this one. But usually I'd say at least like half the time or more, there's some sort of hilarity that ensues that doesn't fit in the middle of the video. So we'll just throw it at the end. But I'm glad you're sticking around for that at the end. Red says, I like the longer vids, 15 minutes versus the shorter. Cool. You should consider the outtakes for the shorts. That's not a bad idea, actually. Maybe you're onto something there, Red. I could go back through my like archives of videos too and just like cut out the end and make shorts out of those outtakes. That might be funny. I wonder how that would do performance wise. If people would just be like, what the heck is this? Why is this guy posting this guy shouting or whatever? If it's like, Alex losing his, I don't know. Might be onto something. I'm going to write that down. I've got a notepad here. Make shorts out of outtakes. Okay. Thank you for that, Red. Luke says, I mostly watch long form. I still watch short, but I prefer long form. Okay, cool. That's kind of my hope. My hope is that people, don't mind the little bite size, like, kind of junk food, fast food stuff, but you still want, the more bigger meal with like 3 courses, like the main entree every once in a while too. All board, no breaks. I like long form more, but I'm also with you on not liking TikTok that much. At the end of the day, do whatever gets you that cheddar, though. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I have to decide what's going to be financially the most viable thing to do, right, to keep this going. That's the real thing that I'm staring down. I was talking to Kevin from Snowboard Pro Camp, though, a little bit about that, and he was like, the only real financial gain in TikTok is if you start to get some brand deals and people say like, hey, if you make a TikTok video or if you make like 3 or 4 videos, then we'll give you some money or whatever. But you're not monetizing those videos or anything like you do on YouTube. And at least with YouTube Shorts, I mean, you're getting like maybe $1 or $2 for a short, if that. But at least it's quote unquote monetized. Instagram's kind of the same thing as TikTok. You're not getting any money from that. Although I saw there's like a feature that says you can monetize now if people want to send you money. So I turned that on Instagram. But it's a bummer. Yeah, I wish I could just make the creative longer form stuff and pay all my bills and we'd be good to go. But the real thing I have to weigh in is how much time it's going to take me to post stuff on TikTok and if it's worth it. Yeah. Ferb Jr. says the closest I got to Baltimore was Suitland, where my best friend lived for a couple years. I'm not familiar with that. He says, yeah, my farm is up in Box Elder County. Okay. That makes sense. Where is Suitland? Can you chime in, Ferb? I don't remember if I've ever heard of it. Yeah. Luke says, yeah, I don't use TikTok, but if you can stand it, I would try it out. Yeah, maybe it's worth giving a try for a couple months and see what happens. Appreciate that. SPF says definitely prefer long ones though. Cool. Yeah, appreciate that. I do too. Hey, what's up, Roland? Roland said, dude, it's all about the long format videos. People are going so short and it just loses that cinematic quality, right? I mean, I feel like my footage is going to shine best when I can edit it and cut it to music and it flows and has a story. And if it's, just a couple seconds long, it's just like, okay, well, let's try to find the best looking shot in the whole thing. And even then, it's just not that impactful. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of sad. You know what I equate it to? I feel like it's like, do people who are so infatuated with TikTok and other short format stuff right now, do they go to like a movie theater and sit down and like see the opening credits and then walk out? Like, do they watch movies on Netflix or Max or whatever it is, and after like a minute or two, like they turn it off and flip to something else? It's just like, I don't know. I don't get it. And even on YouTube, I can look at my analytics, and the average person who's watching YouTube videos will click off the video within like the first 30 seconds. Even if it's like a 10-minute video, I'd say about 50% of the viewers drop off after like 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds on like every video, which just kind of blows my mind. I mean, I've done that too. There's some videos that you'll watch, right? And after a few seconds, you're like, oh, I need to click on something else, or it's not what you're looking for. So I get that, but it's just kind of surprising that there's so many, like the majority. Like no matter what video it is, it could be my highest performing video, and you look at the graph, and it's just like steady decline of people watching to the end. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit on a rant, I suppose. So we'll move on. But I thank you guys for your feedback. Ferb Jr. says YouTube is really, really pushing the short form content. Yeah, I think so. Just because they're trying to compete with Instagram and TikTok, right? Yeah, that's the only reason, I think. I see it suggested more on my homepage now than I did before. But I still usually see like a full length landscape video on the top of my feed, followed by shorts like right under it. Red says the bloopers have been encouraging, especially when I first started riding. I mean, falling. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, we all fall. And maybe that's a good reason to incorporate them into the shorts, into Instagram reels and stuff like that. Because on Instagram especially, and maybe TikTok isn't exactly the same, but on Instagram, everybody just shows you the best of the best, right? Like especially pro snowboarders or skiers or whatever. Everybody's showing you their absolute best now. They're not saving it for like a video release or whatever. So I think it's important for everybody to see bales, see us fall, because we all fall. I mean, that's the only way you get better, is by being willing to fall. And sometimes even if you don't intend to fall, you're just going to fall anyway. So glad you like those. Glad that's encouraging. I'll definitely keep that in mind. And if I have anything I'm on the fence about throwing in the bloopers, I'll probably throw it in there if it's a good slam, especially. Yeah. Ferb says, I really like TikTok. Was that intentional? But I go out looking for information. I'm not idly doom scrolling. Interesting. I wonder how many people do that, and how easy is it for you? How easy or difficult is it for you to find the information you're searching for? Because with my ADHD, I would get on there looking for something, and I do this on Instagram. I get on there with the intention of doing something. The next thing I know, I've spent 15 minutes scrolling and getting lost in my thought, and I have to like close the app to remember, oh yeah, I got on the app because I was going to message this person, or I was going to, check Powder Buoy's latest post or something like that. So that's impressive that you're using it very intentionally and not just mindlessly doom scrolling like you called it. Because I think most people are probably doing that, right? I think most people are just idly scrolling without really knowing what they're consuming. Anyway, that's my thoughts, but that's cool. Stephen Preston says, with a possible valley snow backyard park, I hope so, man. Right? Like, yeah, I saw there's some forecast of potential valley snow, at least by like midweek next week. Oh yeah, dude, that's gonna go down again, especially since we got Arthur now. Arthur has a little sled. He's standing. He's starting to stand. He's like really close to walking. I feel like he's gonna be walking any day. So we'll definitely be playing in the backyard. But yeah, we'll set up the rails again. Set up a kicker in the backyard. Maybe I can get Alex or some other homies to actually come over this time. I'm telling them the backyard setup is fire. But yeah, last season I think only Dan Hickman came out and got on his skis in the backyard. Didn't make a full video out of that. Only got a couple clips. But yeah, I would love to make a full backyard video thrown down in the backyard. It's such a good hill. Good question. See if I missed anything. Ferb says, when I moved to Utah, I went to Nordic Valley for $10 night skiing so often, and it really helped me to get good. I bet it did. That's awesome. And I think you can still get lift tickets for that cheap, can't you? Maybe even cheaper on certain days if you get them in advance, I've heard. But I know Nordic Valley is probably like the most affordable place to ride and ski in Utah. So that's awesome. We need more places like that. Yeah, need to get up to Nordic Valley, but it's so hard to get that far and not go to Pall Mall and just pull off to Nordic instead. Needs to happen though. Camera Boy says, shorts and reels are okay to kill time on my phone, but I like watching the full episodes on my big screen. That's what we're talking about, guys. We all need to take a lesson from Camera Boy. Now, I love big screen myself. I always say if you can watch a board progression episode on your TV, that's the way to do it. My wife even suggested maybe like somewhere down the road, maybe next season, trying to get a couple of people together to do like a premiere somewhere with like a real big screen outdoors. And doesn't have to be maybe one of my videos. Maybe we just all watch like a snowboard video or something. But I feel like that would be cool. I did something like that kind of for my 40th birthday 2 years ago, where I got a bunch of local homies together and we watched Art of Flight in the backyard of my house on a projection against the house. It was massive. It was like, I don't know, 300 inches or something like that, probably. That was super fun. But I don't know. It was just an idea that she threw out that might be kind of cool to like get people stoked for the season. But yeah, the bigger the better, I say, for the longer format. Yeah, thanks for chiming in with that, camera boy. We got Luis Villanueva in the house. 50 inches this weekend. I hope you're right, dude. Roland says Villanueva. Where did you see that? I saw maybe a foot and a half. He says LOL, extreme optimism. I mean, I saw the upper end of the University of Utah's chart was like 35 inches. 50, maybe a bit overly optimistic, but I like it. I like where your head's at, Alex, for sure. Starting with tomorrow, right? Alex and I are going to Brighton tomorrow. It's supposed to start snowing tomorrow. I don't think there's going to be any crazy accumulation. I think they're just talking about a couple inches. But yeah, let's hope like 10 inches tomorrow and then 10 inches every day after that for the next 5 days. That sounds good to me. Mr. 9 or MR9 says, any tips for an individual wanting to start their own snowboarding channel? Yeah, man. I'd say the best thing you can do is just get in there and do it. You know, it sounds probably not that helpful to say that, but like the sooner you can start, the better. And I would say if you make like 5 videos, don't make one video and then upload it, then make the next video and then upload it. I would make like 5 or 6 videos all together and then hold on to them and then post them all like within the first 5 days, you know, so they're like ready to go. And then that might help YouTube's algorithm a little bit to be like, hey, this guy's posting a bunch of content. You know, maybe we'll try to push it out a little bit more. That's my theory anyway. I've heard other people say something similar if you're going to try doing a YouTube channel. But I say this to everybody. It's a lot of work. Just be prepared for a lot of work and you better love it. You better love making the videos. You better love posting the videos, and you better be okay with, you know, not a lot of growth in the beginning and it taking a long time to see some growth or even some income. It took a lot longer for me than I thought it was going to. And then the other tip I would say is if you're single, it'll help because the more you can upload and the more you can just burn the midnight oil, doing like daily uploads, even, you know, finishing the video the night before and posting the next day, that'll help the channel grow a lot quicker. And I have no regrets, but I think that's probably the biggest thing that's held my channel back from growing bigger is I don't do daily uploads, and I never have. The most I've ever done is 2 per week. So I'm growing a little bit slower than I'd like to, but that would be, yeah, that's all my advice for right now, I guess. Hope that helps. Ferb Jr. says near DC. Okay. So I don't even remember where we were talking about. Suitland, yeah. He said it was near DC in Maryland. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar with that area. I spent some time in DC when I was living in Maryland, but usually just like, you know, downtown. So not really familiar with it, but that's not far from where I grew up. Vlad says, dude, the weather forecast looks so promising. I know, I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I don't see any snow outside my window, even when it says it's snowing. Just can't get my hopes up anymore. What do you think? Yeah, today I saw the weather forecast said that it was snowing here in Sandy, and I looked outside and I was like, it is? It kind of looked like it was doing something up in the mountains, though. So, yeah, hopefully it is. It can't just not snow forever, all season, right? It's got to start sometime. Yeah. So we're staying optimistic. Hopefully hopefully we're going to get at least a couple feet after, I don't know, this next like 5 to 10 day cycle. I think 10 days from now, we should have like a couple of feet of snow, maybe way more. I really hope more. Nick O says hello from Northern Idaho. Sweet. We're expecting to see up to 24 inches between Thursday and Saturday. Nail biting. Yeah, I feel that, quote unquote, up to. Let's hope it's 24 plus, right? Yeah, you guys need it just as bad as we do. That's awesome. What's your favorite place to ride, Nico? If you got one, let me know. Steven Preston says, you sick, Dan? Yeah. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the chat. Sorry if you guys are joining in after I mentioned that. But yeah, I came down with some cold symptoms like 2 days ago. There's a little bit of cough. I haven't really been coughing, which is good. But yeah, just some congestion in the nose and a little bit of runny nose. But I'm feeling good energy-wise. Going to be out riding tomorrow. I rested a ton yesterday. And yeah, I think it's, fortunately, knock on wood, going to be like a quick 48-hour turnaround kind of thing, hopefully. But yeah, a bunch of people were sick. Alex was sick like 2 weeks ago, so I don't think I got it from him. But my son Arthur was sick, and then my wife was sick. Thought I was going to dodge it, but eventually it got me. But so far it feels like it's not going to get too crazy. Yeah, we'll probably wrap this up in about 15 more minutes, just because I don't know how long my voice will hold out. But if you got any more questions, guys, throw them in here. Certainly. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And yeah, even Steven says, I swear everyone I know is sick right now. Yep, exactly. MR9 says Nordic's new development is excellent riding considering price and terrain. Cool. So did they have an expansion? I think they did, right? They expanded and like added a new lift over the last couple years or something. I think that's what you're referring to. I don't think there's anything brand new for this year, is there? Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think that's what you're referring to. And I was talking to Trace one year, I think, about Nordic, and he said it was awesome on a PAL day. He said it could just go off. And the terrain looks pretty fun. So, yeah, really need to get over there. Vlad says, by the way, some dudes saw me wearing VOBP gloves. Awesome. And I was selling them hardcore. Nice. Props to you for advertising them. Best gloves I've had. Love to hear that, man. That's so great. And I love to hear that because they are such a great product. They really are. It's like once you try them, you really don't want to go back to regular gloves. And just knowing that there's a better product out there, like I want people to try it and experience it, right? Like, yes, it's awesome to see people rep them, and yes, it helps me out. But at the end of the day, like, I just want people to try them and wear them because they're so sick. Makes things so much easier. But that's great. Love that, dude. Thanks for sharing that. MR9 says 10 inches today for the next 5 months, please. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that every day. Or the next 6 months or 7. Yeah, Red says at Nick, oh, jealous as we are only expecting 8 to 10 here in Boise Bogus. Terminator 2149. I'm going to Park City and have an extra day. Brighton or Solitude? Do you like riding park? That's the question for you, Terminator. I'm guessing the Terminator would like to murder some park. No, yeah, that's really kind of what it boils down to. I'd say if you ride park at all, even if it's, small features, I'd say go to Brighton. Yeah, Solitude has a little park, but it's not where you go to ride park. And yeah, are you skiing or snowboarding? Also, that's another question. Snowboarding, Brighton's more of a snowboarder's mountain, I'd say. Solitude's a little bit more geared towards skiers. So I hope that helps. But they're both fun. You'd have an awesome time at either, I'm sure. Roland says, Dan, your videos are special. Thanks, buddy. So are you. So are you guys. All of you guys are special. They're so well shot, and the editing and music spot on. Thanks, buddy. Don't change a thing. Cool. Well, we got to keep progressing, right? Hopefully, it just keep getting better. If you just put out more content and found a way to travel to more mountains, they will come. That's true. Yeah. I would like to travel more. I keep saying this. Maybe this is just like an OCD thing, but I'm like, I got to check off the last 3 resorts in Utah. If I've done those last 3 resorts, then I'll start to branch out outside of the state. But that's taking a little longer than I'd like. Yeah, I appreciate that, buddy. I really do. Thanks. It means the world. Nick O says that's up at Schweitzer Bowl. Any snow is a plus at this point. Yep. Roland says, on that note, have you been to Big Sky? I have not. I need to go to Big Sky. There's just so many good places now to go, right? But yeah, I've heard awesome things about Big Sky, Montana. Place is fire. They just added this new peak tram that looks just like the birds. Interesting. Was it right after the bird put theirs in? I wonder. Doppelmayr double dipping. Yeah, that's cool. I want to go to Big Sky. I've heard awesome things. It's big too. I mean, Big Sky, obviously, but yeah, I've heard it's a very large resort. Ferb Jr. says it's a real struggle to get to stay focused to get what I went on to TikTok for, because I'm pulled in a million different directions. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, they want you to just get lost and stay sucked in. But if I stay on mission, I consider it a success. My hat's off to you, man. Literally, like, if you can stay on target and get on that platform or any social media nowadays with intention to get to something and you actually get to it, then good job. Roland dropping in the big old super chat. Dude, thank you. That's awesome. 20 bones. You're the man, dude. Thanks, Roland. He says, give the man some love, peeps. Free lunch. Let's go. And hit that like button. That'll definitely get us a nice lunch. So thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that, Roland. You're the man. Yeah, dude. So sick. Caden Armes says, I've been struggling to find some friends who go snowboarding or skiing even in high school. It's like nobody at my school skis that much. How did you find all your friends? I was fortunate that I had like 2 or 3 friends who wanted to snowboard in high school. But there were a lot of times when I would just drive up to the mountain by myself. And I was bummed that I was going up by myself. I always would prefer to be going up with a friend. But you make friends on the mountain, dude. Like, if you just go up there and just try to be friendly and chat with people, especially on a chairlift, just if you're riding up in a chair with somebody, you just say like, hey, how you doing today? Are you having fun today? Usually I'd say 10 times out of 10, people appreciate that and they'll open up. Even like the most introverted person, if you're just like, you having a good day? They're usually like, yeah, are you? And then, maybe you ask them like, hey, do you want to take a lap together? Or you can say like, hey, I'm about to go hit this trail. Do you want to join me? And yeah, you've got to be a bit of a outgoing extrovert sometimes. But that's the best way to make friends, honestly, is on the mountain. And if you get a job working at the mountain, that's going to just speed it up exponentially. That's how I met most of my friends out here. The guys that I'm riding with now, Most of them are either like friends of friends that I met at work or people that I directly worked with. Like Alex. Alex was in mountain school with me. We both taught snowboarding. And he just came up to me and was like, dude, you make YouTube channel videos. That's sick. I want to ride with you and film with you. He was super down. And then, yeah, there was a bunch of other people like Otto and Ari who aren't even really in the videos that much anymore. But we're still friends. And I've met other people like Dan Hickman through Otto, who has been in the videos and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd say just like don't fall into that trap of being like, oh, I don't have anybody to ride with, so I'm not going to go up and ride or ski. If you really want to do it and it's something you're passionate about, you'll find other people who are passionate about it too. You just got to be a little bit outgoing, which can be tough. I'm an introvert, honestly. I mean, maybe that's a surprise to you guys. I'm doing a live chat and I run a YouTube channel, but I'm pretty much an introvert, and I have to force myself to get out of my shell a little bit and open up and talk to people in like a social environment when I don't know people. So yeah, hope that helps. Armando says, I'm about 15 minutes behind on this chat, but in regards to content and format, I think it would be cool if you mentioned the specific areas and runs you are on and how to access cool areas, etc. I've toyed with that idea. Maybe there's like a good balancing act I could do with this, because I have seen some people ask for that. I've seen some other channels do stuff like that where they'll post the trail that they're on and whatnot. But I also don't want to put a target on my back for all the locals, because I don't want to blow up semi-secret spots that are good spots because not everybody goes there. But maybe I can, give a more general area of where I'm riding and stuff like that. Yeah, if anybody else has an opinion on that, chime in what you guys think. I mean, obviously it's beneficial, right, to the viewer to know where we're at and where we're riding. And I often talk about where we are, but specific secret spots and stuff like that, I'm hesitant to do, because I also want to respect the local community here and keep things that are special. But it's definitely a fine line there. Camera Boy says, final verdict on the Max Lens mod. I think the verdict is still out, but overall it's all very good. It's very impressive. The biggest weaknesses is you can't do 5.2K. The max resolution you can do normally with the Hero 12. You're topped out at 4K, which is still a great resolution. It just means if I've got somebody doing a follow cam and the subject gets pretty far away, I can't zoom in really much without losing some quality, which is what I liked about filming in 5K, because you can punch in quite a bit and it makes everything seem a lot closer than it really is, even if, you get away from the cameraman. So that's kind of the biggest weakness, I think, to it. But I love the horizon lock. I think it looks great. The color profile still looks really good, even though you can't use log, which is like their most raw color profile. It still gives you tons of information to work with in post. I'd say, yeah, the final verdict right now is I'm going to keep using it. I think I'm going to use it tomorrow. If I don't bust out another camera. Haven't really talked about this yet, but I am going to be trying out a different camera than a GoPro very soon, guys. I won't tell you exactly what it is. You just have to wait and see. So stay on the edge of your seat for that. But there's a company that reached out to me that I wasn't expecting, and asked me to do a review of one of their cameras and then like a comparison video of their camera compared to the GoPro. So I think we're going to do that, which I'm pretty stoked for, honestly. Up until this point, I've been a huge proponent, a huge advocate for GoPro, and I still am a huge advocate for GoPro. I think that they make the best action cams with the best quality. Like, end product out there. Like the end product that you get from GoPros, I still think is second to none. Now, maybe I'll be proven wrong after I try out a couple other cameras, but for now, yeah, we're going to keep using the max lens mod. And we may take it off every once in a while on certain occasions, but I'm liking it a lot. The max lens mod 2, by the way. Terminator says he's snowboarding. So yeah, I would say go to Brighton. Yeah. If you're snowboarding, go to Brighton. Even if you don't ride a ton of park, there's just so much playful side hits, and the terrain's just a little bit more friendly for snowboarding at Brighton. If you're going to pick between the two, I would rather go to Brighton than Solitude. But Solitude is really fun too. So yeah, I hope that helps. It's almost just like flipping a coin, but I would say Brighton. Ferb Jr. says Nordic cut a couple trails over the summer, but I haven't been since 2020. Okay, so there's some new terrain at Nordic. Interesting. All the more reason to get there this season, right, guys? There are 2 parks at Solitude. They've got 2 now? Okay. The one on Sunrise is super fun. Sweet. And Ferb says off. I'm not sure what you mean by off. Cameron says, made it. I figured you would be at Austin Smith's premiere in Ogden tonight. No, I wish I could be, man. That sounds awesome, though. Yeah, Ogden's just a bit of a hike from Sandy, unfortunately. But that sounds rad. Yeah. You're not there, are you, Cameron? But it's good to see you in the chat, dude. Glad you can make it. Thanks. Cameron's been in the last few. Ferb Jr. says, didn't you get a bunch of friends when you worked at the Bird, Dan? Yeah, totally. Yeah. So working at a ski resort, you can just make a ton of friends that way naturally. So that's the best way to do it. And Cameron says another 2 Utah ski areas you will need to try and gain access to are the Olympic Park and Wasatch Peaks Ranch. Yeah. I'm familiar with Wasatch Peaks, but Olympic Park, as in like over in Park City, the Olympic Park, is that a place that you can actually ride? I thought that was just kind of some leftover remnants of, like the ski jump and stuff. But maybe you're alluding to something I'm not familiar with. Roland says, no way. Yeah, I live in Sandy. Been in Sandy for the last 2 years. We moved from Cottonwood Heights, summer of 2021, I think. So maybe more than that. Yeah. All Board No Break says, any ideas on things to do in Salt Lake besides snowboard? Me and my fiance are coming down on Valentine's Day to see if we want to move there one day, and we need ideas for what to do on our days off. Cool. One of the things that Celica and I did, my wife and I did, is we went over to Midway, which is kind of around the other side of the mountains, a little bit further past Park City, and we went to a hot spring in Midway. If you just Google like Midway hot spring, that was super fun. Really nice. It's like one of the biggest hot springs here. I'd recommend that. That was really cool. And then you get to see a little bit more of like Heber and that area that you might not see. You could also plan it on a day that you're going to be in Park City. If you're staying in Salt Lake, it would make the most sense to maybe do it on a day where you're going to, also be in Park City or something like that. But yeah, that would be a fun thing to do for Valentine's Day. It might be a little bit busy, so I would check and see if you need to get tickets in advance or something for that on Valentine's Day, because it'd probably be like a kind of romantic thing to do. There's also a really cool ice sculpture garden there. Yeah, that's a couple things to do. Does she ski or snowboard? If she doesn't, she might like going up the tram, even if she doesn't, because that's something you can do even if you're not, riding at the bird. The aquarium is actually really cool. Most of those, aquariums and like zoos and stuff can be a tourist trap in towns for people visiting, but the aquarium is actually kind of nice. I took Celica there for a date a few years ago, and then we ended up getting passes there once Arthur was born. So yeah, hope that helps. Ensign Peak's cool to check out. It's got a great view of the valley, and downtown's fun to walk around too. So hope those are some good ideas while you're here. All right, guys, it's 9:06. I think we'll wrap it up. Roland says that's where my girl lives, who I always come stay with. Oh, nice, dude. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I didn't know that you had a special somebody here. That's very cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all tuning in. Yeah, this has been really fun doing all these live chats. This is the first one of the year. Thanks for chiming in what you guys thought about longer form content versus shorter form content. Talking about cameras a little bit. I appreciate you guys asking some questions there as well. What else I want to say? Oh, as far as gear goes, I just got a deal with Burn Helmets. If you guys like the helmet that I've been rocking this season, or the one I had last season at all, Burn is now giving you guys a 25% discount on anything for Burn. And then I get like a little percentage of that commission if you guys are interested in the helmets. I'll have a link in the description below for that. Same thing with CB Days. It might be actually 20%. Sorry, it's either 20% or 25%. I forget. But that's pretty cool. One more thing I'll add is if you guys are interested in a meetup, I know Roland's asked about this. I'm looking at the end of February, February 24th and February 25th. It's the last Saturday and Sunday of February. So let me know what you guys think of that date. If you can try to do a meetup, I'm going to try to do like one day at Icon Resort, probably Solitude, and then another day at Park City for a meetup. Let me know what you guys think. Good to see you, Dave. Happy New Year, brother. We are wrapping it up. Luke says, see ya, feel better. Thanks, man. Yeah, I am feeling better, despite my voice sounding a little bit raspy. And All Board No Breaks says she'll be snowboarding with me, but she'll love that Hot Springs date idea. Yeah, thanks for the ideas. No problem, man. My pleasure. Hope you guys have an awesome Valentine's Day trip here while you're here. Yeah, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Love you all, and I will be online with another live chat in a week, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I'm stoked for the snow coming in. Hopefully by that time we can all talk about how we're just buried, how the whole country's been buried with snow. Thanks again for watching, guys. Love you. We'll see you in the next one. All right.